this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill no
Wait a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the World. I'm SeptumSin, this is Kotobuki Jake, and we're here to show you what we got.
Yeah.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Got stuff this week.
Got a lot of stuff to go through. We're going to move as quickly as we possibly can, because we still got a vlogcast to get to, and I want to be able to eat tonight. So, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a question for you. Do you have a cassette player?
Me?
Yes.
No.
That's the question, and my answer is also no. But there are some of our audience does have a cassette player, and I do have this digitally, but I have run into an artist online, and he also advertised this on the Rebel Gaming Club, and this is Grazi, and this is his album here. As you can see, it is on cassette, apparently cassette only, or digital. So he's also got a silver version. So this is, and I'll probably try and do a full review. I want to listen to it a few more times through, but it's a kind of a techno-ish feel to it. No real lyrics, just kind of, it's kind of a cool sounding thing. I've been listening to it a lot as I've been going through my paperwork and just having it play in the background, and it's actually pretty snazzy stuff. It's pretty enjoyable. So
Good times.
I was going to give you one of these, but since you don't have any means to play them, I really am going to keep one of these as sort of a collection for myself, but I'm going to spread it around here. So, when I do my review, so this is a heads up for you. When I do my review of these, I'm going to do a giveaway attached to that review. So when that review comes in, you better watch it, because there will be 2 of these up for grabs, the silver and the red. And the first one to comment that they want this will win, and then that person can decide which one of the 2 they want. So y'all need to keep a lookout for that. Now the silver one has already been opened, so I can show you a little bit. I can show you what's in there. Now I got this as a kind of a nice little bonus there, which I'm going to be putting with my other one.
Cool.
But I can show you the insides of this one because it's opened. So there's the artist himself. It has, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tracks on it. So it's just kind of cool. You don't see cassettes anymore. Matter of fact, that's kind of weird, is that it's just like 8-tracks almost. They kind of just disappeared from the thing. Maybe that would be a cool thing. Maybe 8-tracks would be an interesting format. But still, that's kind of cool. I just thought I would share that, because that's just kind of a rare music pickup on my part.
Very cool.
I did, and I actually paid for this, so this is not a promotion. I actually, these are legit opinions on this. I've gotten kind of tired of people getting free stuff and then their opinions aren't legit, so this is a legit opinion. So,
Nice.
on to you.
Okay. So, and this will be a legit opinion. But if you want more in-depth on the legit opinion, there is a recent Delusions of Grandeur show that we both participated in that is what this title is from. Now, I actually am opening and ending tonight with a sort of a theme-ish that you will probably be able to guess once you see the whole thing. And Septum, I bet you might be able to guess where I'm going with this just from seeing the first one. But and it's actually carried through to one of the items in the middle too, which is kind of fun. But anyway, so the first one we're doing is a movie that we presented a while back, and I was like, oh my god. And then we saw it, and I was like, oh my god, but in a good way. And I was like, I must have this. And so after watching it, and it was surprisingly expensive on eBay, and I did not get the price you got, you lucky bastard. I got my own copy of The Velocipaster, A Man of the Claw. And you gotta love this description. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China to find meaning in life, but instead inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a prostitute convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. So much quality it had to be gotten. Did set me back $20, but still.
Shut up, crime. I didn't feel the need to have it on Blu-ray. That's the main thing.
I did.
It's not enough for me to warrant that. No. So my first one is an anime pickup, and it's one that I saw on Anime Abandon, and it was just so over the top. It's one of those old school anime that got re-released by Discotech. It used to be really hard to catch. And it's a series, a 4-episode series called Mad Bull 34.
Okay.
Now this is, I guess, Japan's take on our police, which I would say, with recent events, this is probably a legit take, and where they're going around just shooting up everything. Apparently, he wears like a cluster of grenades on his crotch, so it's a balls to the wall, over violent, sexton violence.
Well, if you wear grenades at your crotch, it probably will be.
So it just looks like it's going to be fun. I want to see this, so I had to get a hold of it. It's just it's one of those I just had to grab.
So, I have been trying really hard to get caught up on my, getting caught up on this channel. I fell behind on the videos, and so some of this stuff is kind of triggered as I'm, but anyway, I can't remember exactly what the trigger about this was. I just said that for some reason. But anyway, we did have a discussion. A lot of the stuff I've ordered recently got delayed. Big time. I actually placed several notable orders at one time from different vendors that were like not just eBay vendors. The Best Buy one came, and we already presented that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. But
everything else just didn't. And one of those orders was from Sentai Filmworks. And when I wasn't the only one in our group that placed an order. And, that was the trigger. They had done this sale like 2 weeks after another sale. And at that time, I watched a video recently where I'd commented on this one particular item. I was going to wait for it to come down in price. I think it ended up coming down $5. But at any rate, Dave in our group had apparently placed his first ever Sentai order, and I kind of gently ribbed him for it. But I followed it up with, or about that time, I did my first Kino Lorber order, which I know you guys have ordered from in the past. But the connection is that I ended up getting the Sentai order the day after the Kino order, which was like, well, that's kind of funny and weird. But at any rate, so the Kino order is a nice small order. They did run a sale, and I think they were running a couple of them simultaneously. And this one was, I think, a $5 pickup. And it's a movie I'm not at all familiar with, but it's a freaking Peter Sellers movie, so that's has to be gotten. And that's a movie called The Optimists.
Yeah.
And did you ever see this?
No, but it looks fun. I like the cover.
Yeah. It tells the story of a street performer named Sam, who, with a unique outlook on life, befriends two children and teaches them to look at life from a new perspective. The novelty of having a song and dance man as a friend soon turns into something much deeper, as Sam realizes the children have just as much to teach him about life as he does them. So, etc., etc. And it's the music is by Beatles producer George Martin, which is kind of interesting. But like I said, an old Peter Sellers film, and it was like $5. I was like, I gotta do that. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, actually, I have I do have an interesting mix. For once, I have a pretty even mix of TV, anime, and movies. So this next one is just the first season of a show, and I may never get more than that. But this is the Smithsonian Network's The Real Story, which has part 1. I like that slipcover. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
A slight damage on the second one's slipcover, but it's not much difference in one or the other there. But I like the slipcover. They look really cool. And there's part 2. You can see a little bit of damage on there, like just a little bit, but not a ton. Now, there's a reason for me getting this, because I try to get almost all things Amityville. And 2 of the episode, part 1 has Escape from Alcatraz and the Amityville Horror for it. So that's the main reason for that. And then I went ahead to finish out the season because they came in a bundle, which part 2 has Indiana Jones, The Real Story, The Untouchables, and James Bond. So
Nice.
So, I think if anything, it's going to be informative and just fun. So I do look forward to that.
Okay. Well, the next one, and most of these, incidentally, are from Kino's Studio Classics line, but one of them is not. But the next one is one that's been on my to-watch list for a long time. And I really want to see it, and I just never got around to it. And it's kind of fitting and notable that I'm presenting it this week because, again, we're doing Elephant Man for Delusions of Grandeur this week. And this is also a David Lynch film. And it's a film called Lost Highway.
Oh.
And it stars Bill Pullman, Patricia Arquette, Balthazar Getty, Gary Busey, Robert Loggia, and it's one of the last film roles for Richard Pryor, which is probably how it ended up on my radar in the first place. That or being a David Lynch film, one or the other.
You'll have his complete collection one day.
One day. But apparently this is a really weird movie. Basically, let's see, it's... I don't even know if I want to get into a description because it's a David Lynch film.
I was gonna say,
it's very rare.
A David Lynch film being a little bit weird?
I know. Actually, Elephant Man is remarkably straightforward for one of his movies.
It's one of his earliest films, though, so...
Yeah, I know. But I do want to see this. It looks really interesting, and I'll get to it one of these days.
So, my next one is... I explained this earlier. I am trying to get a complete set of all the Oscar winners. One way or the other. And I added to one of them that was from this recent year's Oscars, where I finally found it used for $10, and that was Bombshell.
Nice.
And I even have the slipcover on it. It was actually very good condition. I was very happy to do this. I showed this to my wife when we watched it, and it just really is a good film. I mean, if you're a huge like Fox News Roger Ailes proponent, you may not like this because it posts not so nice light. Especially if you're one of those that says, oh yeah, he's completely innocent, it's all liberal media's fault and all that. But if you're one of those who is like, yeah, I watched Fox News, but yeah, he was totally guilty, I think you could still get into this. Because it's very well acted by everyone involved. All three women here, excellent actresses. Especially Charlize Theron, which... I mean, her portrayal was amazing. And of course, John Lithgow, you can't really... I mean, and makeup, the performance, once you got into it, you felt like it was Roger Ailes. And it really was there. And they didn't... To me, yeah, he was presented basically as what he was, but... I didn't feel like the movie was constantly bashing him as it was going. And that's something that was kind of cool. You got to see this... Like I said, I thought it was a very powerful movie, especially in the Me Too era. So, if you haven't checked this out, and you're curious about it, and so long as you're not, like, way beyond repair politically, I think you'd like this movie.
All right.
What would you think? Do you think somebody who is not necessarily a Democrat could actually enjoy this? Like somebody who's neutral to the road, kind of just right?
Well, like I said, the film does not rail against conservatism in general. It rails against disrespect towards women in the workplace. That's really the axe that it has to grind, and it does grind that axe very sharply, but. It does a very, very, very good job of showing what a true toxic work environment is. And it's not based on whether they're liberal or conservative. It's based on whether they respect each other or not. That's really,
One of my favorite lines in that film is they're talking about, like, yeah, did you hear that rumor that there was going around? The guy they had playing Sean Henn is like, I heard there's a rumor going around that if Roger ends up being kicked off, that we all walk. They're like, oh no, that was just a plant that Roger put in there. It's like, fake news, and he walks off.
Yeah,
I just thought that was just hilarious. To me, it was just so well acted. It's worth
hilarious.
It just for that.
Yeah, it was. So, a very, very, very different sort of film. The one film that I got from Kino that is actually a first-run release, not a classics release, and in fact, it actually has some pretty good bonus features, including a Q&A hosted by Roger Corman. I'll have to watch that eventually. And this is a movie I could see us doing on Movies Galore. It's a weird, strange Iranian-American mashup by Anna Lily Amirpour called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. And it's basically a vampire film, but it is one of the stranger and more unique takes on the genre that I've seen. I have seen this. It's really weird. I did not love it. But it stuck with me. I was like, this is a movie that deserves being gotten. And it was kind of what triggered my looking up Kino in the first place. I was like, let's see what Kino has. Let's see if that movie's on sale. And it was actually at a price I was willing to pay. I think it was like $13. It was the most expensive one I got, which actually I did pretty good with this batch. I think the whole pile cost around $40 or so. So maybe not even that much, but this is definitely an interesting one.
Well, this next one is in that ranking where it goes above the yes please, the must grab ones, and that's pretty much anything Lupin that comes out, unless it's like ridiculously expensive. And this one is the 26 Lupin special. Good Lord. Which is Lupin the Third, Goodbye Partner. Now, this looks fun. I mean, I like Lupin in general. It looks like Inspector Zenigaga ends up being arrested just being the mastermind behind all of Lupin's heist, and that kind of gets to Lupin as it goes in. And but also there's another plot about him trying to steal this time crystal.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fun. Most Lupin is fun. I'm willing to bet this will be a very enjoyable watch whenever I get
Good deal. Okay. Now, one that I know you would have ranked as an essential, a priority, because you introduced it to me, and with tremendous praise and great love for the film, apparently. I figured I saw this on sale, and I was like, it's past time that I got this. And it's a film written by, directed by, and starring Gene Wilder, called The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother.
I forgot Kino did that release.
Which also has Madeline Kahn, Marty Feldman, so the reteaming the Young Frankenstein team, and also Dom DeLuise. I mean, I know I saw this film, I don't remember when you showed me the film, but I enjoyed it. But I saw that and I was like, I've got to get that.
Yeah, I have another version of that, but I think it's a DVD version. But I really like the film. It's just it's a fun film. It was one of my father's favorites, or still is, I guess. And I sometimes those do rub off on me. I always like how he says, "Well, nothing I like that you like," but that's not true because, as you've seen in a lot of the things I bring forward were things he's introduced to me.
Right.
Sometimes you don't realize how much influence you have over others. Just like I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that your father had liked that you like today because of he introduced you to those. So let's talk classic TV. I had a very disappointing mishap when I got the cheaper version of this, and it came loose in the case. And you know how you sometimes get it's loose in the case and you go, whew, it's not so badly scratched. Not in this case. It was so badly scratched that you couldn't even play it. So I decided, you know what, I'll pay an extra $10 to get the better version, because there's two versions out there, and this one's a little bit higher quality, and that is the complete Monsters series. It looks better. It's got the embossed cover.
Nice.
It's got the exact same content as the cheaper version of the series, but the discs, I can shake this a little bit, and they're not bouncing. You know why? Because they're better. It's a better selection. It's a better collection. And of course, you've got all of the series. You got all 70 episodes, and you got 2 of the feature-length movies: Monster Go Home, which got a re-release not too long ago, and The Monster's Revenge. Plus, it has some pretty cool special features to it, so that's pretty cool. I like this set here.
I need to see that one of these days.
And you get Family Portrait in full color, so that's kind of cool.
Cool. All right, so my next one is actually, if you can believe it, a VHS conversion. I do still have some VHS films that need to find a home, and then I have slowly but surely been converting them to DVD or Blu-ray. This was one that I think I've only seen the one time, and it was probably after I got the VHS, and I've never seen it since. But I liked it a lot. It's a Lawrence Kasdan film from 1999 called Mumford. And basically, so when a wannabe psychologist, curiously named Mumford, who's played by Lauren Dean, comes to the idyllic town of the same name, he offered his talent for listening and a disarming frankness as the town's quirkiest citizens scramble for a seat on his couch. And the cast includes, among others, Hope Davis, Jason Lee, David Paymer, Martin Short, Pruitt Taylor Vince, Alfre Woodard, Jane Addams, Priscilla Barnes, Ted Danson, Zoe Deschanel, Elizabeth Moss, Robert Stack, and Kevin Teague. I mean, that is a hell of a cast. And again, Lawrence Kasdan, the guy who did The Big Chill. it really is a fun film. It's one that is largely fallen by the wayside. But when I saw this again, it was really cheap. I was like, I am past due for a conversion. About time.
Isn't there a band named Mumford, like Mumford and Sons or something like that?
Mumford and Sons, yes.
Any
and they
relation?
Probably not. And they haven't been around as long.
All right. So, my last actual movie of this time is a movie that I got in a I bought off of What Movie One's eBay page, which he was doing like a little. It was Bad Milo and I think two other films, and this is one of the ones that came with it, which is Bait 3D. We watched a film that was very similar in nature called Crawl. Very similar in concept. And this one, a tsunami hits, and these people were stuck in this like grocery store or whatnot, and they're stuck on top of the aisles as it's flooded, because with that comes in a whole bunch of very aggressive sharks. And they have to figure out how to get to safety before the rising water levels basically flood them out, as another tsunami is expected to hit. So this it was fun. It was very entertaining. It's not really to be taken all that serious, but still.
So it's Crawl meets Sharknado.
Now, this also comes with a 3D disc, so if you have a 3D TV, you could watch it. I didn't, so I didn't. So.
All right.
Yep.
So, interesting. Actually, this is interesting timing and an interesting segue here, because of course, Crawl came to us via Dustin and Inside Movies Galore. He did an alligator-themed twofer. And Dustin has repeatedly threatened to suggest a particular, I wouldn't say threatened, but he keeps talking about a movie he hasn't actually put forward as a suggestion. But I figured when I saw it on sale, for one, I grew up with this movie, and it was a nice little bit of nostalgia. And two, I figured, well, I should go ahead and get it just in case. And this kind of fits my wraparound theme in a way. And that is a movie called Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend. About these people that find a baby dinosaur. And it's got William Catt, Sean Young, and Patrick McGowan, who I actually very recently saw a very interesting role with him on Columbo. He had a couple of appearances on Columbo. And this was I don't remember it well because it's probably been close to 30 years since I've seen the movie. It came out in 85, so I think I probably saw it 3 or 4 times as a kid, and then maybe... but I did see it as a kid, so it has that nostalgia, and I'm curious to see if it lives up to the nostalgia. But if nothing else, I thought it was worth putting in the collection.
It is on one of Dustin's Crypt videos that he has out. So if you go to that, what was it, the Crypt of Horrors, if you go there to his channel, and I do have a link below.
Although it's not really a horror movie, it's more of it's more of an adventure kind of movie, if I remember. Yep.
See, now this one here, my second to last, is all about necessity. I heard this was going out of print, and I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and get it. And it's a classics, so it's one of the ones that Funimation obviously cares a little bit about. But apparently they don't care enough to keep the license because they dropped it. And that is Drifters. Remember we talk about streaming rights, right?
Right.
Well, they lost the streaming rights. They're no longer streaming it.
Oh.
So right now, this is the only way you can get this. So, but if they've dropped the license, it's only so long before they get rid of this. I don't know anything about this.
That's not even the oldest of shows, is it?
Not really. But it must have had a previous release because it's got a classics here, so they kind of repackaged it. And it must have sold pretty well because usually it's their higher dollar ones that got the classics label.
Mm-hmm.
So I am curious enough to grab this. It wasn't super expensive. And I don't know, like I say, I'm curious. I'd never heard of it before I was told it was going away. But at least now I can watch it and I don't have to worry about worries of streaming.
All right, so like I said, I got my first ever order from Kino Lorber, and it was this nice little bunch here, which again, that whole bunch cost less than $40. I think it was like 36 or 37. Just not too bad for some old, and a couple of these I think are going out of print. I think they were doing like a going out of print sale on some of their stuff, so that, I feel like the Optimist was one of those. I could be remembering that wrong. But anyway, my fears of something going out of print were what necessitated my making a purchase from Sentai. I only ordered one item, and it cost about 20 and change more than that entire Kino order. But it was one that, and again, I had waited the previous sale. I think it was like $5 more, so I think it went down like $5. But it's one I really, really, really wanted. I do love my premium edition Sentai sets, and they do sometimes sell out, and you really never know ahead of time which ones will and which ones won't. And this was a show that I really wanted to see. I really wanted to get, called Bloom Into You.
Ah.
Which is,
Yuri.
It's basically, what's that?
Hey, Yuri, I believe.
It is a Yuri series. But the thing is, with Yuri series, you get, most of the time, Yuri and Yaoi tend to either be played up for the prurient interest, especially Yuri, or they're played up for laughs. It's very rare that you get a show that's described as thoughtful and honest and really makes an effort, and that's the reputation this series has. So and it made a lot of year-end best of lists. A lot of people were saying this was like one of the great shows. It was like 2 years ago, I think. I feel like Anime America rated it really highly. I know Anime News Network did. It's one I just really wanted to see. And when Sentai announced they were doing a premium set, I knew I would get it. I would have liked to wait until it was a little cheaper, but I still got it a hell of a lot less than the pre-order price.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure I had this particular collection because I figured, like, I do try. Like, we were talking in our other video this week, Mysteria Friends, Domestic Girlfriend, I'd love to have the premium sets, but it's not important. It's like I would love it, but some of them you gotta do, you know. So yeah, so very happy to have that. And I didn't know you were going to be presenting some anime. That was my little nod to the anime group, but yeah.
Well, my last one is animated, and it is what was it? It is one that is not complete, which is kind of but this series has never actually gained a complete physical media release. That's mainly because of the content. So this is probably the best that they're going to get, which is the Beavis and Butthead Complete Collection. And this is even going out of print. It's not complete by any means. It's only 40 episodes of like a 100-episode series. But that's a lot of episodes.
This is the old version?
Yes.
This is not the newer one.
And on top of that, they have Beavis and Butthead Do America. So a lot, and those original volumes are out of print, and this is getting ready to go out of print. It's harder and harder to find. It's, it's good to have some of it. If they ever do a real complete collection, I'll probably upgrade to that. I'm glad that Daria got a full release. But at least, you know, you get a little bit of it. In a way, I probably couldn't stand over 100 episodes of Beavis and Butthead, so maybe it's for the best that it's only 40 episodes. It's, you know, it's the 4 volumes that they had, which were the kind of the best of.
You need to just throw back a couple of 40s and then watch it.
Actually, that might be the best way to do it. I only watched it in a middling way when it was in its prime. I prefer a lot of the spin-offs. I prefer Daria. I prefer King of the Hill, which is kind of funny because they got complete releases on physical.
Did they do that with King of the Hill? Okay, I need to find that.
All 13 seasons are available.
Nice.
And I was excited. They did a huge wait between season 6 and season 7. But yes, and that was one of those must-have because I got those as soon as they came out because I wasn't taking any chances. And but yeah,
I wish I had.
But really and truly, it's near impossible to watch all the episodes of Beavis and Butthead unless you're torrenting it. So that's probably about as close as you're going to get. And I think you've got one more for us.
I have one more.
Go for it.
It's just technically several more, but it's a good one. So I gave in to my peer pressure because everyone in our group apparently has this now. So I have this really, really awesome Criterion set. The Showa era films, 1954 to 1975. Which, did you read off the full set list before? I can't remember.
I did. I read off all 15 films.
Yeah, so you got Godzilla, Godzilla Raids Again, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, Ebirah Horror of the Deep, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters Attack, Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, Godzilla vs. Gigan, Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Terror of Mechagodzilla. And I don't know if you showed off. There's some decent number of bonus features there.
I gotta wonder.
What's up?
Because they do have both versions of the original Godzilla movie.
Right.
I wonder if they have any more or less features than was on the separate standalone release.
Right. I'll find out once I really open this up and dig into it. Obviously, it's not going to happen right away. If we end up doing a Kaiju month, I'm sure Godzilla will be on the list.
I'll probably, if we do the original Godzilla, since I've already watched my other copy of it, it'll be through that copy, definitely.
But I love this set. It really does. It looks like a yearbook. It really does. Even with that color scheme, it looks like something out of the 80s almost. It's like, I don't know. It's just so cool looking. And it really does look like a book. Yeah. But one day I'll open it up and get in there. But I was able, I think you clued me into this, actually. I was able to pick this up for basically the price I would have gotten it during July, but a couple months early. So that will make July less painful, theoretically.
So now you can save up for A Marriage Story.
Well, that's on the list. Although it's not as top of the list as some of the others, definitely.
Oh, it's at the top of mine because it's the Oscar winner.
Yeah. And I know you want it badly.
I want that release of American Factory to come out so I can complete that stuff.
Yeah, they announced all that stuff, but they haven't gotten to it yet, you know.
Or The Irishman, for that matter.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And Parasite and...
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, we've got to take a quick break, but we're going to, if you haven't seen it already, we're doing a vlogcast soon.
Yes. So if you didn't watch it already, watch it after this.
So we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. Bye.